The Princess Queen nearly lost her battle, until a human in the crowd stepped forward. HFY Stories. Best HFY. The sun hung low over the red sands of Taurus. 9. Painting the endless dunes in shades of gold and copper. A gentle wind carried fine particles across the canyon, forming little whirlwinds that danced like spirits across the barren land. Somewhere far above, twin moons reflected a pale light, giving the world an eerie, otherworldly glow. It was not the kind of place most people would call beautiful, but Jace Marlowe found it oddly peaceful. Jace, a human with a lean build and a weathered face from years under harsh suns, stood at the edge of a natural stone platform. Around him, a crowd of Xylarians, tall, graceful aliens with shimmering blue skin, watched quietly. The platform overlooked a canyon so deep it seemed to swallow the horizon. It was the perfect spot for a wedding that no one would forget. The human groom adjusted his simple, dusty coat. Unlike the Xylarians, who wore elaborate ceremonial robes adorned with jewels and glowing threads, Jace's attire was plain. His boots were scuffed, his hat slightly bent, but there was a confidence in the way he stood, as though he belonged here in this alien world as much as anyone. Across the platform, Queen Varel watched him. She was the ruler of the Xylarian Empire, known across galaxies for her intelligence and poise. Her eyes, a deep violet that shimmered with curiosity, followed Jace's every move. To her, this wedding was more than a simple alliance. It was a test. Humans had always been underestimated by her people. Fragile, unpredictable, and slow to understand the complexities of interstellar politics. But there was something about this human that intrigued her. Jace took a deep breath and looked at the canyon. The wind tugged gently at his coat, and he noticed the fluttering banners that the Xylarians had set up. They were decorated with symbols of unity, meant to honor the unusual union between human and alien. Jace had never cared much for pomp or ceremony, but even he had to admit, the scene was breathtaking. "Groom," called a Xylarian official, his voice musical and precise. "It is time." Jace nodded, adjusting his hat. He walked slowly toward the center of the platform, the eyes of hundreds of aliens upon him. Some whispered to one another, their elongated fingers tapping on metallic bracelets that hummed softly. He noticed the queen rising from her seat, her robe trailing behind her like liquid starlight. She approached with a graceful step that seemed almost unnatural for a creature of her size. The ceremony began in a way that was both alien and oddly comforting. There were no harsh words or demands, only a series of light projections and songs that vibrated through the platform, harmonizing with the hum of the canyon itself. Jace followed the steps as best he could, copying the movements of his alien guide. He stumbled once or twice, but quickly recovered, drawing a soft smile from the queen. Then, as if the universe itself had decided to test them, the winds in the canyon shifted. What had been a gentle breeze turned into a swirling storm of plasma-charged dust. Sparks of violet light danced in the air, crackling faintly against the stone. The hovering banners flapped wildly, and the alien instruments struggled to maintain their projected songs. Panic began to ripple through the crowd. The Xylarians, elegant and precise in everything they did, faltered under the sudden chaos. Some tried to stabilize the ceremonial shields with gestures and tools that glowed, but nothing seemed to work perfectly. The energy field flickered, and a few anxious murmurs rose into louder voices. Jay stayed calm. His heart beat steadily, and his mind moved faster than the storm around him. He noticed that the shields could be anchored to the stone pillars if he adjusted a few settings. Simple, human intuition, nothing the Xylarians had thought of. He moved quickly, guiding them with clear, simple commands, his voice steady even as the wind whipped around him. "Anchor the right field to the nearest pillar. Tilt it slightly to absorb the plasma flow," he shouted. The Xylarians obeyed, a little unsure but trusting the human's calm authority. Slowly the shield stabilized. The storm's fury lessened, the banners ceased flapping violently, and the glowing instruments returned to their harmonious song. The crowd watched in awe, their wide eyes reflecting the flickering lights of the storm now contained. Queen Varel's gaze remained fixed on Jace. She had seen many beings try to command technology to manipulate the energies of a planet, but none had done it with such simplicity and focus. There was no arrogance in his actions, only clarity. The calm strength he displayed left her momentarily stunned. After the storm passed, the ceremony resumed. Jace and Queen Varel faced one another, their expressions reflecting mutual respect. The human's plain coat and rugged boots seemed almost symbolic, a reminder that true strength did not always come in elaborate forms. Humans are curious creatures, the Queen said quietly, her voice carrying over the platform. You face the impossible with a calm that I have not seen in my people. Jace shrugged slightly, a small smile playing on his lips. We do what we must, he said simply. The ceremony continued, but Jace's mind was elsewhere. He noticed a faint pulse of light coming from the canyon floor, far below the platform. It was subtle, almost invisible against the glowing sands, but there was a rhythm to it, like a heartbeat. He frowned, instinctively curious. After the ceremony concluded, while the Xylarians celebrated with a quiet elegance that included holographic displays of history and light, Jace excused himself. He descended carefully along the stone steps, his boots kicking up little clouds of dust. The pulse grew stronger as he approached the canyon floor. By now the light was bright enough to see that it came from a small device, buried partially under sand and rock. It was unlike anything Jace had ever seen. Sleek and smooth, with tiny engravings that seemed to glow faintly, it hummed with energy. He reached out and touched it, and the device responded, projecting a holographic map of the planet in mid-air. Lines of light traced across mountains, rivers, and valleys, connecting in ways that suggested hidden channels of energy. Jace stepped back, amazed. This was not just a device. It was a key to something ancient. Something the Xylarians likely thought only they could understand. His mind raced with possibilities. Human ingenuity might unlock secrets even the Queen had never imagined. Footsteps echoed behind him. He turned to see Queen Varel herself, moving with her usual grace but slower, as though curious and cautious at the same time. You found it, she said, her voice soft, tinged with wonder. I did not think a human would notice, or dare. Jace shrugged again, this time more thoughtfully. I didn't dare. I just followed my eyes. Sometimes simple observation is better than centuries of calculation. The Queen considered him, her violet eyes reflecting both surprise and admiration. For the first time in her long life, she felt uncertainty about what humans could achieve. This was no longer just a wedding. It was a moment that might change the way her empire viewed an entire species. Jace smiled faintly and touched the glowing device once more. We humans, we have a strange way of seeing things. We don't always overthink. We try. And we adapt. The Queen nodded, intrigued. She had met countless species, all with their unique strengths and weaknesses, but she had never seen such calm, simple intelligence applied with such impact. In that moment, she realized the Xylarian Empire might need humans in ways she had never considered. The sun dipped lower, casting long shadows across the canyon. Jace and the Queen stood in silence for a moment, watching the play of light on the ancient stones. Around them, the distant sounds of celebration continued, but the world felt quieter here, intimate. As the twin moons rose higher, a new thought settled in Jace's mind. The pulse from the device was not random. It was calling, pointing, inviting. Whatever secret lay buried in the canyon, it might not just belong to one species. It might belong to all who were brave enough to discover it. And Jace Marlowe, the simple human groom from Earth, was already curious enough to try. The next morning, the red sands of Terrace, 9 glowed softly under the twin moon's fading light. Jace Marlowe had hardly slept. The small glowing device he had discovered at the canyon floor kept replaying in his mind. Its patterns, its pulse, and the holographic map it projected were strange but beautiful. He had spent hours studying it, trying to understand its purpose. Something about it whispered of secrets long forgotten. Ancient energy veins running under the planet, hidden channels that even the Queen's advisors had never charted. Human, a voice called. Jace turned to see Queen Varel approaching, her steps as graceful as the flow of water over smooth stones. She held herself with the same calm authority she always did, but there was a spark in her eyes that had not been there yesterday, curiosity, perhaps even admiration. You found the device, she said, her voice soft, and you activated it. I didn't mean to, Jace admitted, scratching the back of his neck. It just responded to me. Maybe humans see things differently. Varel studied him carefully. That is why I am here. The Xylarians do not understand this artifact as you seem to. She gestured toward the canyon floor. I want you to guide us. Show us what it reveals. Jace hesitated. He had no official training, no knowledge of alien technology beyond what he could learn in moments of observation. But he had an instinct that the Queen had trusted him enough to follow his lead. All right, he said. But we need to be careful. Whatever this is, it's old and powerful. We don't want to break it, or ourselves. Together they descended the canyon steps. The early morning wind carried a sharp chill, and the sand crunched softly beneath their boots. Jace noticed how the queen's robes glimmered against the rising sun, the patterns of her ceremonial dress reflecting light like flowing starlight. Even in this quiet moment, she seemed untouchable, a ruler born from another world. When they reached the artifact, the device pulsed again, brighter this time. It floated slightly above the sand, projecting a holographic map in midair. Lines of energy snaked across the planet like veins in a living organism. Small symbols rotated along the lines, glowing faintly as if alive. "Do you see this?" Jace asked, pointing to one of the brighter channels. "These lines, they connect different regions of the planet. I think they are energy veins. They might be natural, but they seem to respond to the device, almost like a network." Varel leaned closer, her eyes narrowing in concentration. "This is remarkable. No human or Zalarian has ever documented energy veins like this before. If you are correct, this could change everything. Our settlements, our energy systems, everything." Jace grinned faintly. "Then we should explore it, right? If there's a hidden path, I say we follow it. Humans aren't afraid to try." The queen raised an eyebrow. "And you think the rest of the Xylarians will agree?" "Probably not," Jace said honestly. "But I don't need anyone to agree. I just need someone to let me try." Virel hesitated, then nodded. "Very well. I will come with you, but you must promise to be careful. This planet has secrets that even I do not fully understand." Jace smiled. "Careful is my middle name." "Well, not really, but I try." They started walking along the energy lines projected by the device. Jace noticed that the paths often led toward odd formations, crystal towers jutting from the sand, valleys that seemed to hum with faint energy, and pools of water that reflected colors no human had words for. The queen followed silently, occasionally speaking to adjust the map or question a particular formation. "This one looks dangerous," she said, pointing to a narrow canyon filled with swirling light. "Our sensors indicate unstable energy. Most Xylarians would never enter." Jace nodded. "I can feel it. But danger doesn't always mean bad. Sometimes it just means interesting." With careful steps, they entered the canyon. The air hummed faintly, a sound like soft music vibrating through the bones. The light pulsed in rhythm with the device in Jace's pocket. As they moved deeper, the crystals around them began to glow more brightly, illuminating intricate carvings on the walls. Symbols that seemed familiar yet alien. Jace reached out and traced a symbol with his finger. The crystal beneath his touch responded, shifting its glow to match the pulse of the device. A small doorway of light appeared before them, not solid, but almost tangible.
"Wow," Jace whispered.
"That's incredible. It's like the planet is welcoming us, or testing us." Virel's eyes widened. "It is rare for a human to approach these relics without fear. Most would hesitate." "You do not. Fear doesn't help much," Jace said simply. "Observation does. And patience. And sometimes a little guesswork." The queen studied him carefully. "You are unlike any human I have met. You are calm in situations that would terrify most. And yet, you are bold when needed. Perhaps your species has hidden strengths we have not noticed." Jay shrugged. "Maybe we just adapt. That's what humans do. We see a problem, and we figure a way around it." They stepped through the doorway of light and found themselves in a vast chamber beneath the planet. The walls shimmered with iridescent crystals, and a soft hum filled the space. In the center stood a floating orb, glowing with energy, surrounded by a ring of smaller spheres. The device in Jace's pocket pulsed faster, almost as if excited. "It's beautiful," Varel said softly. "I have studied ancient Xylarian relics, but nothing like this. And you, humans would normally avoid something so unknown. Yet here you are, guiding us." Jace moved closer to the orb, examining the smaller spheres. He noticed that each one corresponded to a point on the map the device had projected. When he touched one, the orb's glow shifted, forming new lines of light across the chamber. "This is a network," Jace said. "It connects different parts of the planet. Whoever built this, they wanted to share energy, knowledge, maybe even life itself." Varel nodded. "The Xylarian Empire has always believed we are alone in our wisdom. But perhaps humans, too, have a place in understanding these ancient things." As they explored, a soft vibration passed through the chamber. The orb pulsed rhythmically, as if responding to their presence. Jace realized that the device was not just a map. It was a key. "If we figure out how it works," he said, "we could open new ways to live on this planet. Shared settlements, new energy systems, maybe even towns built the human way. Simple, strong, adaptable." The Queen's eyes sparkled. Humans are always underestimated. Yet here you stand, uncovering what my people have overlooked for centuries. Perhaps your species' strength is not in power, but in perspective. Jace grinned. That's exactly it.
We see the world differently.
We try different things. We adapt. For hours they examined the chamber, following the glowing lines, touching the spheres, and watching as the energy network revealed hidden valleys, underground rivers, and crystal formations that could store and transmit energy. The Queen noted each discovery, clearly impressed, but it was Jace's calm problem-solving that guided the exploration. Finally, the device pulsed one last time, projecting a line of light toward the horizon. Jace and Vierel followed it, emerging from the cavern onto the plateau above. Before them stretched a wide valley, bathed in the soft light of the twin moons. Energy crystals glimmered faintly across the ground, showing the path forward. This is just the beginning, Jace said, looking at the valley. There's more here than anyone realizes, and we can do something good with it, together. Varel studied him in silence. She had always valued strength, intelligence, and control, but Jace had shown her something new, a human way of facing the unknown with calm courage and cleverness. For the first time, she wondered if humans might be the key to a future even the Xylarians could not imagine. The Queen finally spoke, her voice steady but thoughtful. Then we will continue, human. We will explore. We will learn. And perhaps we will build a future together that neither of our peoples has ever dreamed of. Jace nodded. Sounds like a plan. Let's see what's out there. The twin moons rose higher in the sky, casting silver light across the valley. And as the device pulsed one last time, Jace and Varel knew this was not just a discovery, it was the start of an adventure that would challenge everything they thought they knew about the galaxy, the planet, and even humanity itself. The air above the valley shimmered like liquid silver as Jace Marlowe and Queen Varel stood at the edge of the plateau. The energy lines from the ancient device stretched across the ground like glowing rivers, leading to a structure that pulsed with a faint blue light. It looked almost like a doorway hovering above the earth without support. Are you sure this is safe? Varel asked, her violet eyes reflecting curiosity and caution. Jace adjusted his hat, the familiar gesture grounding him in the unfamiliar alien world. Safe? Maybe not. Interesting. Definitely. That's good enough for me. Varel shook her head with a small smile. He had come to appreciate Jace's fearless calm. Humans seemed to face the unknown with an ease her people rarely displayed. The doorway shimmered brighter as they approached. Jace extended a hand and the device in his pocket pulsed in response, connecting to the structure. The doorway opened like a bubble in space, revealing a corridor of light stretching far beyond the plateau. Looks like a portal, Jace said, stepping closer. And if I'm right, it might lead to somewhere no one has been in centuries. Varel studied him. Then we go together. This is not just a human or a Xylarian matter. This is discovery, and perhaps learning. Together they stepped through. On the other side, they found themselves in a land unlike any they had imagined. The sky shimmered in shifting colors, green and orange streaking across the horizon like liquid fire. Gravity seemed lighter here. Each step sent a small hop through the soft, spongy ground. Crystalline trees glowed faintly, and rivers of liquid light wound across the land. Wow, Jace whispered, walking carefully. Now this is something else. Varel floated beside him with ease, her long robes flowing like water. It is beautiful, but it is also fragile. We must tread carefully, Jace grinned. Fragile worlds need careful humans too. Lucky for you, that's me. They moved forward, following the pulses from the device, which now floated in midair, pointing them toward a distant mountain of glowing crystals. Along the way, they encountered strange phenomena. Floating stones that circled one another like planets, flowers that opened and closed in rhythm with the energy pulses, and streams of light that seemed almost alive. Virel examined each phenomenon with a scientific eye using instruments she carried, but Jace observed more intuitively, noticing patterns in the movements and rhythms of the world. While the Queen's devices analyzed and recorded data, Jace instinctively understood it. See that stream? He asked. It's flowing backward, but only halfway. The rest flows forward. There's a balance here, like it's adjusting itself. If we follow it carefully, we can reach the mountain safely. Varel watched him with a mixture of amazement and respect. Humans rarely understood such patterns instinctively. They relied on observation, patience, and clever thinking, traits her people often ignored in favor of precision and control. Your people are unpredictable, she said softly. "And yet, there is a method to your unpredictability." "It is impressive," Jace shrugged. "We just adapt. That's how we survive. You find a problem, you figure a way around it." As they neared the glowing mountain, a subtle vibration ran through the air. The stones underfoot hummed faintly, and the crystal formations resonated with a soft melody. Then, ahead of them, a shape emerged. An ancient guardian, a creature of light and crystal, standing taller than either of them. Its form was majestic, elegant, and alien, and it emitted a soft, pulsing glow. Varel instinctively raised a small shield of light around them. "It is testing us," she said. "Be cautious." Jay stepped forward slowly, hands open in a gesture of peace. "We don't want to fight," he said. "We just want to understand. We're visitors, nothing more." The guardian tilted its head as if studying him. It did not speak in words, but its pulses seemed to form patterns in the air, a language of light. Jace observed carefully, noticing that each pulse followed a rhythm similar to the energy streams they had crossed. "Look at it," he said softly. "It's not angry. It's just curious. It's testing how we think." Varel frowned slightly. "Most beings respond to tests with force. Humans, you respond differently." Jace nodded. "We don't always need force. Sometimes observation, patience, and understanding are stronger than anything else." He reached out slowly and mirrored the Guardian's pulsing light with his own gestures, guided by instinct. The device in his pocket synchronized with the pulses, amplifying the rhythm. The Guardian's light shifted, forming patterns that matched Jace's movements. Slowly, the Guardian bowed slightly, acknowledging his approach. Varel gasped softly. "It recognizes you. It recognizes human ingenuity and understanding." Jace smiled faintly. "Sometimes being clever is better than being strong. That's our hidden advantage." The Guardian stepped aside, allowing them to pass. Jace and Varel continued toward the mountain, following the pulsing streams of energy. Along the way, they discovered hidden pathways, luminous caves, and delicate formations that seemed impossible to navigate without careful attention. Every time Jace led with intuition, solving problems the Queen's instruments could not anticipate. By the time they reached the base of the glowing mountain, Varel's respect for humans had grown immensely. "You have a way of seeing the world that we do not," she said quietly. "Your species is underestimated because you do not boast, yet your insight—" "It is remarkable," Jay shrugged, brushing sand from his coat. "We just try to do the right thing. Watch, think, adjust. That's it. Not much fancy equipment, no centuries of tradition, just paying attention and being willing to act." Together they entered a narrow cavern leading to the mountain's core. Inside, the energy pulsed stronger, and the device in Jace's pocket glowed like a star. Lines of light crisscrossed the walls, forming patterns of energy that resonated with the pulse of the planet itself. "This is incredible," Varel whispered. "The energy, it's alive." Jace moved carefully along the path, touching the glowing walls. The pulses responded to his touch, guiding him forward. "See? It's like the planet is talking. You just have to listen." That's what humans do. We listen, learn, and adapt. They reached the core, a chamber where the light converged into a radiant sphere suspended above the ground. As they approached, the sphere shifted, projecting holographic images of settlements, rivers, and forests, possible futures for Terrace 9. "It's showing us potential," Jace said. "If we follow these energy lines, we can create places to live. Towns, farms, communities. Places that work with the planet, not against it." Varel studied the projection, amazed. "Humans may indeed be the key to understanding this planet, not through force or conquest, but through ingenuity, courage, and adaptation. You have proven your hidden strength." Jace smiled, tipping his hat slightly. "Thanks. I guess it's true. We humans have a way of surprising people. Even alien queens." The sphere pulsed and a soft hum filled the chamber. Jace and Vero realized that this place was not just a portal or artifact. It was a guide, a tool meant to share knowledge and energy with those capable of understanding. As they prepared to leave the cavern, Jace looked at the Queen. "There's more out there," he said. "More worlds, more secrets, more things to learn. And humans? We're ready to see them." Varel nodded, her eyes thoughtful. "And perhaps the galaxy is ready to see you?" The twin moons shone through the cavern entrance as they stepped out, the valley below bathed in soft light. Jace's hidden strength, the calm, clever ingenuity that had guided them through the portal and the Guardian's test, was no longer a secret. Together, human and Xylarian, they faced the vast unknown landscape, ready to explore, learn, and build a future that neither species had imagined. And as the device pulsed faintly in the distance, Jace felt a thrill of anticipation. Whatever lay ahead, he knew one thing for certain. Humans had a way of rising to challenges that no one could predict. The twin moons of Terrace, 9 hung high above the horizon, casting silver light across the valley. The glowing energy lines stretched across the plains like rivers of liquid light, connecting hidden craters, crystal formations, and fields of soft, radiant sand. The air was filled with a quiet hum, the pulse of the planet responding to the ancient device now in Jace Marlowe's hand. Jace and Queen Varel stood at the edge of the valley, looking over the land they had discovered, the secrets they had unlocked, and the possibilities for the future. The human groom adjusted his hat, boots scuffing the glowing sand, and let out a low whistle. "Never thought I'd see anything like this," he said, his voice carrying easily in the still air. "Looks like the planet wants us to do more than just survive. It wants us to build, to share, to live here." Virel's violet eyes followed the glowing lines that traced patterns across the valley. "Your people, your ways of thinking are unlike anything my advisors have seen. Calm in danger, patient in confusion, clever where we rely on strength and rules. Humans have a hidden strength, Jace. And Jace grinned faintly. "Thanks, ma'am. I guess we humans have a way of surprising people. Even alien queens." The queen smiled, a rare warmth in her expression. "Then perhaps it is time we show the Empire what we can accomplish together." Word of their discovery traveled quickly through the Xylarian Empire. Advisors, scientists, and officials gathered at the plateau, eyes wide as they followed the energy lines projected by the device. Many were skeptical at first, doubting that a human could lead an expedition into this ancient and mysterious network. But Jace had learned long ago that trust and calm action spoke louder than doubt. "Step aside," he told the skeptics, a friendly but firm tone in his voice. "Watch and learn. It's simple if you pay attention. The planet responds to the careful, the patient, the thoughtful." The Xylarians watched as Jace guided them through the energy lines. Where sensors and technology had failed, his intuition succeeded. He helped them navigate the glowing rivers, avoid fragile crystal formations, and understand the rhythms of the planet itself. The skeptic's disbelief slowly turned to awe, Viril observed silently, pride and respect clear in her eyes. She had spent decades as the ruler of a galaxy-spanning empire, and yet she had never seen such quiet leadership. The humans' calm, thoughtful approach combined with clever problem-solving was shaping the future of the planet in real time. Over the next few days, Jace led the Xylarians in setting up small settlements along the energy lines. They built homes and communal spaces that harmonized with the planet's energy flow, using lightweight materials that glowed faintly to match the environment. Streams of flowing energy powered these settlements naturally, without the need for complicated machinery or harmful interference. Varel worked alongside him, blending her empire's advanced technology with human practicality. Where her scientists had overcomplicated solutions, Jace suggested simple, elegant methods that worked beautifully. The settlements began to grow, not as alien colonies or human outposts, but as shared spaces, proof that cooperation between species was possible, and beneficial. "Look at that," Jace said one morning, pointing toward a field of energy crystals being arranged into a communal center. "We can make homes that actually thrive here. Not just survive, but thrive." Varel nodded. "And it is your insight that shows us the way. The Empire underestimates your species." "But perhaps it is time to change that view." Jace grinned. "That's what humans do. We keep trying. And when people doubt us, we surprise them." The final test came when the energy streams began to shift unexpectedly, forming new patterns Jace had never seen. The settlements were safe, but the glowing rivers moved as though the planet itself was alive, testing their understanding. Some Xylarian scientists panicked, attempting to force the streams back into previous channels with brute technology. Jace stepped forward, observing the flows carefully. "No need to force it," he said calmly. "The planet is trying to communicate. We just have to listen, follow its rhythm, and adapt." He gestured, walked along the paths, and adjusted the settlements slightly, following the subtle pulses in the energy. Slowly, the streams settled into new patterns, harmonious and balanced. The Xylarians watched in amazement as the humans' quiet guidance achieved what their most advanced instruments could not. Virel smiled at him. "You are showing us a new kind of strength, Jace. Not through force, but through understanding, patience, and courage. Truly remarkable." Jace tipped his hat. "Just doing what humans do best, Pay attention, adapt, and never give up. Weeks passed, and the valley blossomed. Houses glimmered softly with energy, communal fields hummed with life, and streams of liquid light flowed steadily along the pathways. Humans and Xylarians worked side by side, learning from each other's skills. Where the humans brought ingenuity, courage, and a grounded understanding of problem-solving, the Xylarians brought advanced technology, knowledge of energy manipulation, and careful planning. Together they created a new model of civilization, one that honored both species' strengths. At the center of the valley, Jace and Varel stood atop a small hill, overlooking the thriving settlements. Children, human and Xylarian, played together along the energy streams. Gardens grew naturally, powered by the glowing lines beneath the surface. The valley buzzed with life, a peaceful yet vibrant testament to what could be accomplished when species work together. "It's beautiful," Varel said softly. "The Empire has never seen anything like this. Perhaps this is the future." Jace smiled. "It can be, if we keep it simple. Pay attention, adapt, help each other. That's all it takes." Varel turned to him, her expression thoughtful. "Your species' hidden strength. It is not in battle or conquest. It is in ingenuity, resilience, and courage, and seeing possibilities where others see obstacles. Perhaps the galaxy has underestimated humanity for far too long." Jace grinned. "We've got a knack for it. And lucky for you, I happen to be a human groom with a lot of stubborn determination." The Queen raised a hand, calling the attention of the gathered settlers. Humans and Xylarians alike paused, looking at her. "Today," she said, her voice calm but powerful, "we honor not only a union of two species, but the strength that comes from understanding, patience, and cooperation. Humanity has shown us a path we could not have imagined. Let this valley be a symbol proof that we can achieve more together than apart." Cheers and laughter rang through the valley. Children ran along glowing paths, the adults shared food and stories, and the energy streams pulsed in harmony as though celebrating alongside them. Jace stood beside Varel, letting the moment sink in. He had come to Terrace 9 as a simple groom, unsure of what to expect from a political alliance and an alien queen. And yet, here he was, watching a future unfold that no one had thought possible. "Looks like humans can do more than I thought," Varel said softly, her eyes meeting his. "Funny thing," Jace replied. "We've been trying to show that for a long time." As the night deepened, the twin moons reflected on the valley, silver and calm. Jace and Varel stood side by side, overlooking the settlements, the glowing energy rivers, and the thriving communities. The hidden strength of humans, the calm courage, adaptability, and clever thinking had changed everything. The Queen smiled. "This is just the beginning. There are other worlds, other mysteries, and perhaps humans will continue to surprise us." Jace tipped his hat to the moons. "Let them. We're ready for whatever comes next." And as the valley pulsed softly with life, the device glowed one last time, a reminder of the secrets they had uncovered, the lessons they had learned, and the future they were building together. For the first time, the Xylarian Empire and humanity were not separate. They were partners. And in that partnership, a new strength was born. The galaxy had seen the hidden power of humanity, and it would never forget it.